This week in the field, sometimes you just have to get wet to get the shot you want. Hey everyone, I'm Scott Davenport and welcome to In the Field. So today's topic is about getting wet for your shot. Sometimes you just need to do it, need to be prepared to do it, to get the angle that you want. And this is one of the things I talk about in my 10 tips for beautiful seascapes. It's an ebook, less than $5 you have it in your pocket. If you haven't checked it out already, pop on over to my site, check it out. I'll still be here when you get back. So I went down to Hospitals Reef. It's a popular photography spot in La Jolla. It's very close to, actually there's a stretch of about a mile that I'm just in love with. That's my go-to spots in San Diego. And for this particular day, had a rising tide, an interesting looking sky. There was some drama happening. It was pretty obvious that sunset wasn't going to happen. There was a little bit of a glimmer of hope off to the horizon, but generally the sky was filled with clouds and going to swallow up the sun as it got to the horizon. But with that rising tide and the surf advisory just meant for San Diego, that probably means 6 to 8 foot waves occasionally. So it's not as I don't know, dangerous, dramatic as, Hawaii or the Pacific Northwest where you get 15, 20 foot waves. But it did mean that I was going to get some nice spills over this particular formation in the rocks known as the potholes. And let me show you where I ended up getting nice and close and tight up on these things as the waves were coming in.
Get right up on top of the potholes here, polarizers on to maximize those reflections. And I'm waiting for an incoming wave, kind of like this one right there. I'll fire one of those off. Look at some of the play of water around these guys here. I figure I've got another 10, 15 minutes, and maybe even 30, depending on the cadence of the waves, where I can stay up close on these guys without being completely endangered. But where I have to worry about it most is this little bit of swirls here in this smooth part. Waves creep up on the side and will threaten to splash up over the camera. As we are, this is ground level. We are right here.
Well, as you might guess from both that footage and the title of this episode, is meant getting wet to get the shot. And I did have to wipe down the camera a couple of times too. I had a sequence where I caught the photo that I wanted, and then the 3 that I kept firing, the shutter afterward, all have a water spot on the front of the filter I had on the camera. This is a good time to use filters, even if it's just a UV. If you're in a situation you don't need to have a neutral density, you're trying to freeze motion. But having that UV filter or something other than the front element that's going to take the salt spray and the splash makes it easier to clean. You can be a little more cavalier with just wiping it down with the lens cloth, that kind of stuff. But making the decision, even knowing even before I went out to the location, I'm going to walk away and I'm going to be soggy. And it ended up meaning for me, it was like from the knee down, which was fine. It was warm enough. I had shorts on. Sorry for those of you in colder climates. April May when I went out on this shoot. Yeah, it was very nice and it was comfortable and I could get away with that. but just making that choice, knowing up front, I'm going to get wet, and that's the tip of the week. Knowing your location, knowing your scene, and knowing that sometimes you may have to be slightly uncomfortable. I'm not going to say the Pacific is incredibly cold, but in cool conditions and you have cold ocean water, my toes were a little cold for a while, but I'm fine now. But I've been in other situations where you are in, thigh deep water in January, wearing denim that's, holding all that water and being cold. That was an example where I wasn't really prepared, but I saw the opportunity and said, I need to go and get myself wet for this photo. I'll dry out later and I'll come away with a really, really nice shot. And this is the one that I've worked on, and I've come away from this shot. As I was setting up there, it was cool because the surf advisory, I mentioned that, the surfers were coming out. They know when there's going to be good waves. And this guy came out to the edge of the reef and started to kind of take in, all right, what's going on with the ocean, what's going on with the waves. He's looking at it from a surfer's perspective. I'm looking at this scene from a photographer's perspective and say, this is great. This is an awesome story right here. I've got these, really cool rock formations, which I was all about shooting. And now I've got this really hero posed surfer in the scene as well. So I was really lucky to capture all of that together and then, continued on with the rest of my shoot. And that's going to do it for this week in the field. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you did, let me know somehow. Social shares are always appreciated. Comments on the video are great. Anything to let me know you're getting some value out of this and you're finding some interest. I got a few folks that each and every week they're commenting. Gary, Lee, Alan, David, you guys are all great. You're always coming back and letting me know, yeah, this was useful to me. And I really appreciate that. So until next time, my name's Scott Davenport, and happy shooting. Welcome to In the Field. What the hell am I doing? So I wonder if Marty's going, you didn't mention my name as one of the people that comments all the time. It's because I saved you for the outtake.